Hello everyone, it's Lennon, and today I want to read some poetry to you guys. Most of the time, I like to get out the dark, tortured souls, or the poems that make me grieve, or make me think of these poets like sitting on a velvet chaise somewhere, cigarettes dangling from their lips, and they just don't have the words, They don't have the next line in that song. They don't have the next brushstroke, and they're just tortured, Like, oh, that angst. I love it. And so I like to dig through lots and lots of my mini reference materials and see what I can get into. So I have found a few that I would like to read. After I read all these and we end the video, please feel free to leave some of your favorites down below. Who are your best tortured souls that you know? Okay, now Christina Rossetti is a fabulous writer. I love her. She's most famous for Goblin Market, which was epic, okay? But there's also other poems that she wrote that are just as good, that have become salves for my soul. Balms, if you will. And this one is one of those. It's called Remember. Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land, when you can no more hold me by my hand, nor I half turn to go, yet turning stay. Remember me when no more, day by day, you tell me of our future that you planned. Only remember me, you understand. It will be late to counsel then, or pray. Yet if you should forget me for a while, and afterwards remember, do not grieve. For if the darkness and corruption leave a vestige of the thoughts that once I had, better by far you should forget and smile, than that you should remember and be sad. Oh my God. Oh, that poem makes me feel... This is what grief feels like. That's what grief feels like. Grief is not a feeling, a separate feeling all on its own. Grief is where the memories assault you like a movie reel. And it's that dawning realization that you won't have another new memory with that person. Right there. That's where grief lies. How torturous that be. Now, when I was younger, I had read a poem by Paul Dunbar called We Wear the Mask. And on lazy Saturday mornings, or whenever I would get my crafts out, I loved to make masks. Feathers and glitter and rhinestones, and I used to love to craft. But there was something special about masks that I loved. So whenever I used to read this poem as a little girl, or as a adolescent, okay, I'll say, I always kind of pictured my own rhinestone-covered masks. And then as I grew up and matured, and I had gained new knowledge, new experiences, the poem began to open up more to me, and it began to evolve. And when poems and any kind of art does that for you, that's something special. And so this started out as just me remembering getting crafty and wearing those construction paper masks. And it evolved into something so much sadder than that. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guiles. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be otherwise? In counting all our tears and sighs, nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh, great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. God, that's so tortured, right? It's just tortured. And I've always loved it. I've always loved that poem. Now this one by D.H. Lawrence has also a special place in my heart, because it's called Shadow. It's called Shadows. And as a lover of the macabre, that spoke to me just in title alone. And if tonight my soul may find her peace in sleep and sink in good oblivion, and in the morning wake like a newly opened flower, then I have been dipped again in God and new created. And if as weeks go round in the dark of the moon, my spirit darkens and goes out, and soft, strange gloom pervades my movements and my thoughts and words, then I shall know that I am walking still with God. We are close together now, the moon's in shadow. And if as autumn deepens and darkens, I feel the pain of falling leaves, and stems that break in storms, and trouble and disillusion and distress, and then the softness of deep shadows folding, around my soul and spirit, around my lips, so sweet like a swoon, or more like the drowse of a low, sad song, singing darker than the nightingale, on to the solstice and the silence of short days, the silence of the year, the shadow. Then I shall know that my life is moving still, and the dark earth, and drenched with the deep oblivion of earth's lapse and renewal. And if in the changing phases of a man's life I fall in sickness and in misery, my wrists seem broken and my heart seems dead, and strength is gone, and my life is only the leavings of a life. And still, among it all, snatches of lovely oblivion and snatches of renewal, odd wintry flowers upon the withered stem, yet new strange flowers, such as my life has not brought forth before, new blossoms of me. Then I must know that still I am in the hands of the unknown God. He is breaking me down to his own oblivion, to send me forth on a new morning, a new man. I don't know why I'm smiling. It's sad as fuck, okay? He's talking about going through the cycles of life, and whether you be happy or sad, you still have to do it. And in the end, we're just succumbing to God's oblivion, you know? I don't know, just... right? Oh, here's one by Walt Whitman. Darest thou now, O soul? Darest thou now, O soul, walk out with me towards the unknown region, where neither ground is for the feet nor any path to follow, nor map here, nor guide, nor voice sounding, nor touch of human hand, nor face with blooming flesh, nor lips, nor eyes are in that land. I know it not, O soul, nor dost thou. All is a blank before us. All waits undreamt of in that region, that inaccessible land, till when the ties loosen, all but the ties eternal, time and space, nor darkness, gravitation, sense, nor any bounds bounding us. Then we burst forth, we float in time and space, O soul, prepared for them, equal, equipped at last, O joy, O fruit of all, them to fulfill, O soul. My poetry videos wouldn't be complete without my favorite tortured soul on here, and that is Baudelaire, Charles Baudelaire. If I never get to read any more poetry, as sad as that concept may be, if I never get to read any more poetry, new or old, right? I would definitely just pick this to go with me to the end of my days. La Fleur de Mal. Oh, there's just something about these poems. I mean, the reverence. So anyway, one of my favorite poems of his, which is even hard to put down as a favorite, okay, when you love something so much. But there's a poem called Litanies of Satan. And a litany is like a religious mantra. It's a repetitive saying, right? But when I read this litany of Satan, it sounds more like a lamentation, a passionate declaration of sorrow for what was done to the biblical Satan. So it's religious in the sense that it's Satan, and that Baudelaire has dubbed him a god, a fallen god. And I don't know, I fell in love with it, not because it sounds like he's worshiping Satan, because that's not what I think is happening. I think that he's thinking on the biblical Satan and how it happened, how the fall happened and all of that, the fall of Lucifer. And he feels sorry for him. And he's like, you know, no one cared enough to tell this guy that he's just as important, even though he's fallen. So I wanted to read the Litanies of Satan. And if that's not something that you're interested in, by all means, you know, this is the last one I'll read tonight. So, O angel, the most brilliant and most wise, a god betrayed by fate, deprived of praise, Satan, take pity on my misery. O prince of exile, you who have been wronged, who even conquered rises yet more strong, Satan, take pity on my misery. Great kings who knows the lore of the earth, imparts intimate healer of our anguished hearts, Satan, take pity on my misery. Who even to the leprous, the despised, can teach by love the taste of paradise, Satan, take pity on my misery. Who with your old and hardy mistress, death, breeds hope, a charming lunatic at best, Satan, take pity on my misery. Who gives the prisoner his calm disdain, who damns the crowds around the guillotine, Satan, take pity on my misery. Who knows which comers of the envious lands the jealous God has picked to hide his gems, Satan, take pity on my misery. Whose large hand overrides the sudden edge, the somnambulist who walks the ledge, Satan, take pity on my misery. Whose magic gives the strength to ancient bones of drunkards trampled on the cobblestones, Satan, take pity on my misery. Who to console us in our fearful lot taught us the mysteries of shell and shot, Satan, take pity on my misery. Whose mark astute accomplice will be found on Crocus's mean and unfurring brow, Satan, take pity on my misery. Who sees the woman's heart and eyes sustain the love of rags, the cult of wounds and pain, Satan, take pity on my misery. Stall of the exiles, the inventor's lamp, confessor of the hanged, plotters and tramps, Satan, take pity on my misery. Adoptive father of the ostracized, by gods and banished from his paradise, Satan, take pity on my misery. Now, at the end of this particular poem, Baudelaire writes I guess what he considers a prayer. Like, there's this litany, okay? Where the hell? There's this litany, which is the repetitive nature, all the way down until it's like the end of the litany. And then you finally do like your, basically it would be like your Hail Mary. I'm guessing, okay? This is just a guess. I believe that's how it works, but at the end of this repetitious declaration, there's like a final prayer to, I guess, round out the circle. And Baudelaire did the same thing. Satan be praised, glory to you on high, where once you reigned in heaven, and in the pit where now you dream in taciturn defeat. Grant that my soul one day, beneath the tree of knowledge, meet you when above your brow its branches, like a second temple spread. When he says the tree of knowledge there, I think of the tree of life, because it makes me think that Baudelaire had there was a connection between God and Satan just from the tree alone. Like, I'm in the tree. I'm in the middle of the tree right now in my life. I can get close to God if I climb up, but when I die, I'll be close to you. So we're all part of this tree. I think that's what I got from that. But anyway, there's something about this when I read this, like, ugh. Also, just, if you're interested, if this poem or Baudelaire in general interests you, there's a wonderful rendition of this that's spoken. It's just the poem itself, and she does it in my favorite translation, which is the one I just read you. And it's, I don't know, she put something in it. She put something in it, man, that just makes the poem come alive. And I'll leave that below for you to go check out. Coincidentally enough, me and her have the same intro music. So when I clicked on that, I thought, we have the same intro song. That's so crazy. That's a link for sure. So anyway, I just wanted to come on and share some tortured poems for you guys. I hope that you were able to just kind of sit down and relax, be a little sad with me, be a little tortured with me. And I hope that wherever you're at, whoever you're with, even if you're alone, that you have a blessed day. And I hope to see everyone again on the channel. Much love.